Hi folks, and welcome to Windows in the Cloud, our new tech series dedicated to Windows 365 for IT pros like yourself. So before I start and introduce our new guest, I would like to make sure that you can stay up to date via our new Windows IT Pro YouTube channel via the link below. So feel free to do that, stay up to date, and watch the next episodes and previous episodes over there as well. So today I'm very pleased to be joined by EUC veteran Sandeep Patnaik to talk about everything related to end-user experience as part of Windows 365 Cloud PC. So hi Sandeep, how are you doing?
Hi Christian, I'm doing great. You know what? Before we get started, congratulations on starting this channel. I'm so excited that, for Windows 365, which is, only a 6 months old product, the fact that you have done this, the fact that we are able to talk more about what's going on in the product group and what we're building is fantastic. Thank you very much.
Here, thanks Sandeep. And not everyone knows this, but I'm actually a product manager as well on the team, and I'm doing this as sort of a passionate side job to just help the team as well to share their passion via this channel. So really appreciate your feedback here. And I hope we can sort of share that passion and energy level today in this episode as well over the virtual channel to you guys. So Sandeep, can you tell a little bit more about yourself, what you do within Microsoft and such?
Absolutely. I've been in this space for about 16 and a half years. Still feels like yesterday I joined the company and started looking at this and I was like, what's going on? But I'm so excited that I'm so glad that I picked this up. The amount of stuff that we're building, the amount of innovation we're doing. We used to have dumb terminals back in the day. Remember when we used to go to school and there's the thing and now the world has changed so much. And now we have teams and you'll see some of the things that we're doing today. The teams, how do we make sure that we're bringing the best of what people can do working, remotely and all that. Multimedia redirection is another one. But all in all, there's a lot of stuff we have evolved as users of technology and what we do with technology nowadays. So I've spent a lot of time on pretty much every aspect of the desktop virtualization, right from infrastructure in RDS, TS back in terminal services days in NT4, Windows 2000, and all the way till 2008 R2, where it was called terminal services, and then RDS, Azure Remote App. We had a lot of talks about that as well. And of course, AVD, where multi-session was. I'm super excited to bring that. That was huge. And then end user experiences. So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you, of course, for a very long time, even before joining Microsoft, while I was still an MVP. Now at Microsoft as part of the AVD team, and now as well with the Windows 365 engineering team. I also know a fun fact here. You came out of sort of with a background in space technology and such, right? Can you share a little bit about that and how that got you sort of excited about end-user experience too in end-user computing world here? So.
Yeah, I like a lot of us. We've been talking about. We grew up with Star Wars and Star Trek and all the stuff that's happening in the world, and I was during my bachelor's. I was majoring in computer vision and robotics, and that's when I started working with JPL NASA to build a prototype of the next rover, and then also at the same time be able to excite the future generations to build these things. The more and more people are excited to do things, the more we evolve as human beings and be able to do more things. So the target was, how do we take components off the shelf? We took a monster truck. It was fun, closest we could get to what we need to be able to navigate the surface of Mars. And then I spent a lot of time building the stereo vision using two webcams as well as a stereo camera. Two webcams because it's much cheaper than a stereo camera, which back in the day was $2,000+, which is huge for students. I mean, even today we can barely, as students we can barely buy that kind of camera. So yeah, that's where we started, and then any command we sent to Mars and coming back, depending on the distance between Earth and Mars, it could take up to 24 minutes. So every command we send has to be precise. Unlike it's funny that you asked. This is completely not prepared. I have my my drone, and on this, I have hit many trees with this, which is okay. You can replace all these things, but unfortunately, on Mars you cannot do that because things break. What will happen. So there, the way we were testing is we would take a Wi-Fi router, we would increase the drop rate like crazy, and bring it down to less than 18 kbps, and then we'll try to do real-time communication. So using JPEG 20, JPEG 2000, which was the big thing back then, and all that. So yeah, and then when I tried to map that back, and I was like, wow, we could do so much with that. Why can't we bring a lot of that here? And a lot of the innovations that we're building right now still roots from that, still stems from that particular idea I had in my mind, which is how do we make all of this more real time, more natural, more like local, more like, my day to day. I should not have to learn computer. The computer has to know me. I should just do what's natural to me. So here we are. Doing a lot of these things today.
Yeah, I think you create a great segue there. Windows 365 Enterprise and Business is around simplicity and the level of complexity that you might be familiar with previous solutions such as RDS or other VDI technologies. It's completely gone with our tech. And in that tech, you have the level of innovation you just described, which happens in space as well. Just keep iterating on something we have, improve it, make the performance better. And that's exactly what we have in store for the audience here. So before we kick into some demos and show the real innovation around end-user computing and end-user experience in Windows 365, what do you have in store for us? What are the kind of demos you want to show?
So we're going to start off with the Teams optimizations. A lot of the audience already knows about what we've been doing, but one of the biggest challenges that we have is the gap between what Teams Local has and what Teams in Windows 365 brings to the table, and how we are working very closely with the Teams team to make sure VDI or Cloud PC is a first-class experience within Teams. Today, I have a quick demo where, and this is a very small part of large number of things that we're doing with the team. So here is a quick demo. I have background blur, which you just teased the audience about. So here I am in my room. This is connected. So if you see, I've got not so great background, so I want to blur it, which is absolutely working from home. It's very difficult to do that. And then, there's background blur here where we have many more things coming. For example, you can see this is a separate window that is multi-window support that is there. And yes, all of this is all running in Teams optimized. You can see here, everything is optimized. There's more and more stuff coming. Performance improvements are coming. One of the things that we promise as Windows 365 is it should be as simple as buying a PC, just that your PC is in the cloud. It has to be ridiculously simple, and that's what we keep telling ourselves every single day. Every single feature that we build, is it ridiculously simple? Right? So this is one of the things that we're working on.
I want to stop you for a second. This is a new feature, right? People can use this, but it's just like weeks or days available for them, right?
Yes, you're right. Customers, in fact, all of them can try today if you are in Teams Ring 3.9 or lower, which we recommend customers to be in lower rings of Teams so they can try out some of these features before it rolls out to all the customers. So please do that. You can get the latest version of the Insider client for remote desktop client for AVD and try that. It's the same code. Windows 65 is built on AVD. So all the richness and the awesomeness that AVD brings to the table, Windows 365 gets all those as well, which is awesome. We love the partnership with the team that we have. I was on the AVD team, so it's exciting that we have the synergy going and we're building all this stuff. So yes, you're right. People can try it out today if you're on Rings 3.9 or lower.
So I know a little bit about the background architecture of Teams and the optimizations and what protocol it is using to create that peer-to-peer connection from the local endpoint to the person on the other side to optimize the experience. But are we doing something similar as well for video rendering and optimization in a browser watching YouTube, for example?
Absolutely. We are seeing more and more users use videos not only from YouTube but also from LinkedIn Learning and a lot of other such learning websites right on work. So it's not just additional stuff but also learning. So it is now a core part of our end user workload, and for that reason it has been a top priority for us. We have been working on something called multimedia redirection for quite some time now, and it is in private preview. It is in preview. You can download it from the AVD website and give it a try. There is a long way to go there for us before we can say that this is something we can roll out to production, but absolutely give it a try. So here, let me show a side-by-side comparison of multimedia redirection, which is on the left, and you can see this right check, the green check here, saying that the multimedia redirection is turned on. Yes, it is being built by the AVD team, so you will see that same thing come to AVD workloads as well as Windows 365. Again, another awesome synergy here. And then on the right, you see without any of that. So let's see how the side-by-side plays out. So on the left, let me play it out real quick. You can see it is nice and smooth, and it is doing a great job. And on the right, it is going to be a little more shaky. So of course, since I manually played both of them, they are running at different speeds. But as you see, you will start seeing some of those differences. What we're doing here is, with multimedia redirection, there are multiple ways we can bring some of the magic of this real-timeness. What we have done so far is ensure that the CPU utilization and all that is lower on the VM side. And how do we do that? We stop and decoding the stream that comes from YouTube, which is really optimized, right? They go through multi-pass encode and all that. So a 5-minute video could be less than 50 MB. Whereas when that gets decoded and re-encoded in real-time protocol, which is what we have with RDP, the whole thing starts becoming much heavier and slower and all that. So therefore, it's important that we do this, where we take the encoded stream, send it to the client side, and decode only in the client side. So just to show the difference here, if I were to bring up the task manager on the VM side, you will see the performance difference. So let me pause the videos, both of them, for a moment, and show you the spike in the CPU. For example, right now it is averaging around 5% or so. And when I do a playback here, it goes up a little bit and then settles down to about the same 7%, so or 5% back, right? So it's barely any difference. It's just a tiny bit of a thing that's happening there. But in comparison, if I come back onto this side and start playing the video without MMR on the other side, you will see the spikes on the CPU. where it is now settling down around the 30% mark, which means that you have that much less, the users have that much less CPU cycles to do other work on the machine, and which is what most of us do. Like we watch a video, we do our work, we take notes and all that, right? So this is one of the things that we are really looking forward to talking about the same thing, right? How do we make sure that the machine knows what you're doing and make it simple? You don't have to spend more money to buy bigger VMs and all that, make it more cost effective and all that.
So this is all without a GPU, right? Is that correct?
Absolutely. I've totally missed saying that. There's no GPU here. You can see that there's no GPU right here. So it is all running on CPU, and it becomes more important the moment I start running higher resolution images.
Yeah, it's great to see that the RDP protocol is such in a mature position right now that it can just do 4K streaming down to the endpoint without a GPU to be involved there. We are actually working on GPU support for Cloud PCs as well, so stay tuned for that as well on the roadmap page at aka.ms/W365 roadmap. So one thing I see here as well is that you're using the new Windows 11 dark mode wallpaper background, right? So what's that all about?
Well, I would like to personally thank you for bringing us the dark mode wallpaper. Everything I do is dark mode. I have this problem, if I look at a bright screen for more than 5 minutes, I get a really bad headache. So everything that I do has dark mode. Talking about accessibility and all that, this is huge, and thank you for that.
Yeah, and stay tuned for more of those specific updates as well on the products, because our focus is around accessibility too. And I want to call it as well the great work from the Windows branding team and our UX design team on this wallpaper, of course. So other things around end user computing, which makes me very exciting, is around like the protocol, what you just described with MMR and with Teams, but there is as well stuff happening on like the latency side of the connection, right? So can you share a little bit more about that?
The user experience goes beyond a certain applications or certain workloads. So we have Teams optimizations, which improves Teams. We have MMR, which improves video playback and all that. And then we thought, why don't we go a few steps more and make the whole thing a lot better? So with UDP, because there are no acknowledgement packets, things get a lot better, and therefore that was our obvious choice to go do that. The one we have right now is the demo that I'm going to show right now is using Stun, which basically finds the best peer-to-peer packet path between your endpoint and the Cloud PC, and the packets go through that. So let's take a look at the video here. On the left, you see is the UDP, how things work with UDP. And on the right, you see how things work with TCP. It's the same video we saw a little while ago. And by the way, this is both running without MMR. So it's apple to apple comparison for other workloads that we don't have MMR for. At the bottom of the screen, you will see we are changing the lag, basically the delay in milliseconds, and the packet drops. And as the packets start dropping more and more, you will start seeing that there is a lot of jump in the video, and the animation starts becoming less smooth and all of that. To get it right, there are multiple things that the users have to do. Choose the right VM, choose the right network, and do all that stuff. But let's say, given all those things are equal, just changing this protocol going from TCP to UDP has a big difference. Now you can start seeing, the packet drop is at 0.5%, not very big. It's possible, and the delay is 50 milliseconds. So you can see the difference already. What's going on? So this is huge. We are going to make this available for people pretty soon. and the IT has to do some configurations to make sure the right ports are opened up and all. But then, long story short, our hope is that this improves the experience. Remember, I was talking about the 18 kbps network, 24 minutes round trip time. This is along those things, right? How do we improve this even when the users are using from, let's say, the airport network or so. By the way, my neighbor has Starlink and he's getting great reception and all that, which is great. But this is for more of the other networks where you have a lot of lag and a lot of drops.
Yeah, one thing it can do as well is remove the gateway in between, right? You just touch base on that. So that's the reason why the latency drops immediately, because otherwise you go via the RD gateway and RD brokering services, and now you sort of skip the gateway, right?
Mm-hmm. You're right. That is a big reason why people who are not close to Azure data centers can still see the benefits here because of what you just said. There's one less service or component in the middle trying to do some brokering for you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And talking about end user experiences, this is really in the deep end of that. But we are doing as well improvements on the developer side of our licenses. So think about WSL, Linux support, for example, Hyper-V on a Cloud PC. All those experiences will come soon as well to your Cloud PC. So do you have a demo for that as well, for nested virtualization support?
Actually, I don't, because I was thinking that you could do that for all of us. You are the product manager on this, and who better to demo this than you?
Yeah, let's take the instead of driver's seat as well the passenger seat here, and explain the audience real quick what we are announcing or have announced like 2 weeks ago that goes in a public preview early April. And that's nested virtualization support within a Windows 365, and then the 8-core 32 gig of RAM license. So here you see a Cloud PC running with nested virtualization support. So the great thing for nested virtualization is that it supports Linux in a Cloud PC, which is amazing because you can just use your Linux operating system inside your Cloud PC running Windows 11 and then just take it from there and do your developer work in your Cloud PC from any device. So that could be an iPad or even an iPhone or a Chromebook, but of course as well a Windows endpoint that you are familiar with. So here you see Ubuntu running on a Cloud PC. It takes some time to initially configure, but after that you just have Ubuntu, the terminal, running inside your Cloud PC. And this creates like limitless of capabilities for developers to use Cloud PC in an easy manner without that virtualization knowledge needed, and use this developer-oriented Cloud PC from any device they use. And this could even be a bring your own device. So that's really amazing. So this is great for developer scenarios and expand the persona for the developers inside the Cloud PC license. But developers and as well just information workers are as well sometimes like going back in time or providing a backup restore and such. So what are we doing for that specific use case? Can Cloud PC users in the future restore their Cloud PC to an earlier stage in time?
It is super important for people that their data is secure, and that is absolutely one of the big reasons why people ask us to make sure we take care of it. Ridiculously simple way of making sure that not only is people's data stored, but also they're able to get back to it super easy. One of the things that on the physical PCs that they could do is simply go turn on backups, and when things don't go right, they're able to restore it. But then they're on a different screen before the OS loads and all that they can do. But on Cloud PC, what we have done is, here you see is the end user portal, and they could go to the gear icon, click on restore, and then of course make sure that once you restore, you cannot go to the future. It is all about the past. All that is there. Of course, people understand that, but we made sure we call that out. And then they can go and select one of the restore points and be able to restore. We with Cloud PC, we automatically create backup points, restore points, so that people can go back and find out some of those things. And this is again super easy way, just a couple of clicks, and select a restore point, and then bam, your thing is back. It takes about the same time to provision, so it should be less than 10 minutes, which is pretty awesome, because the restore on a physical PC could take a lot longer. But in this case, it is pretty awesome that we're able to provide this, just like local.
And this is something the end user can do himself, right? No IT admin interaction is needed for this.
That's right. Self-service is one of the big ways that we are empowering our end users to do something that they want. Here, the IT doesn't have to get involved, and especially with you mentioned this, right? We have Windows 365 Business, where a lot of people who buy this, they are business owners. They don't have IT experience, and in those scenarios, this is super easy for SMBs and very small businesses to just buy, swipe a card, buy Cloud PCs, have the data also be secure.
So what about the IT admin then? Is the IT admin able to do the same thing?
Absolutely. So IT admin has all the controls that a regular user has, and they can do a lot of these things. But absolutely, the IT is also able to do these things.
And do you have a demo for that as well?
Yes, I do. Here is the admin portal, where the admin can select the Windows 365 node and go and enable point-in-time restore for their users at a particular frequency. Go through the regular steps, be able to create some of these settings, add users to that group, and then bam, they can come right here and say whether the user can initiate those restore settings or not, or at the frequency at which they can do. Of course, they can always go back to the list of all the Cloud PCs and right click on that and be able to say restore a Cloud PC.
Yeah, this is great, and this really describes the flexibility the end user can have, but as well the control the IT admin can have over that. So there's a lot of flexibility there that the IT admin can provide to go back in time or not. So I think this is all very awesome. I really like this kind of features. And let's have another episode like this in the near-term future as well, to just circle back on the latest and greatest updates and see where we stand at that time. Sounds good?
Sounds good. I'm always excited to talk about all the stuff we're doing for our end users. And please keep doing these episodes, because I absolutely love watching all of them.
Here, so I would like to ask you something as well, and that's for the audience. How can the audience provide feedback on these kind of features as well as new features they want to see?
We will have a demo for that in the next session as well. So you can absolutely reach out to me on my LinkedIn as well as Twitter. A lot of people do, and we get good feedback there. But in future, we will also have in-product feedback, just like in Office, where you could just click the smiley icon and provide feedback. We will do those things as well. But for now, either send them to Christian, who is on my team. Thank you, Christian, for joining. This is great to have you on the team. And also you can send it to me on the social media.
Yeah, and another option is to use the tech community page as well. So go to aka.ms/W365 feedback, and then you can just throw it in there as well. We will pay attention to that list and just take it from there and integrate it in our future roadmap as well. So thank you, Sandeep, and thank you for watching, and make sure to follow us online at ak.ms/Windows in the Cloud and on our Windows IT Pro YouTube channel, as well as my own Brinkhoff_C Twitter handle, and on LinkedIn at Christian Brinkhoff if you want to catch me out there as well. So we hope to see you back next time. So thank you for watching.